My name is Emily. I'm 35 years old. That day I was standing by the window of our apartment on the 15th floor, absently watching the falling snow. There were only 3 days left until Christmas, and the spirit of the holiday was already in the air. 5 years ago, when John and I had just gotten married, I imagined a completely different life. However, on the outside, everything looked exactly as I had dreamed. A spacious apartment in a new building, expensive furniture, the latest model appliances. Every morning started the same way. Wake up at 6:30, prepare breakfast, get ready for work. I worked as a financial director in a large company. John held a management position in a bank. Our combined income allowed us to live comfortably, travel, and indulge in expensive purchases. At least, that's how it was supposed to be. Emily, I'll be late today. Sarah asked me to help her choose a new car. I read this message from my husband several times. Sarah is his younger sister, so spoiled by her brother's attention that sometimes I felt like I was the third wheel in our marriage. I slowly walked to the kitchen, where the untouched holiday dinner was still on the table. I had been cooking all day. My husband's favorite salad, roast duck, mushroom pie. We had agreed to decorate the Christmas tree together, but Sarah turned out to be more important again. Lately, I've grown tired of competing with my husband's sister for his attention. It didn't start yesterday. Events had been accumulating gradually, like a snowball. Here's John canceling our weekend plans because Sarah needs help moving. Here he is missing an important presentation at my work because he needs to meet his sister at the airport. Here he is transferring money to her for another whim because Sarah can't deny herself. The next day, I decided to go shopping during my lunch break. In the window of my favorite boutique, I saw a luxurious fur coat. Natural fur, perfect cut, a noble caramel shade. $25,000, the price tag said. For our family budget, the amount was quite manageable, especially before the holidays. I had been carefully hinting to my husband about this coat for a month, leaving the catalog page open, accidentally stopping by the window during our walks together. Emily! What a surprise! Sarah's chirpy voice sounded behind me. Flawless as always, an expensive pantsuit, shoes from a famous brand, a new haircut. Can you believe it? Johnny is such a wonderful brother. He's buying me a car. He says I deserve the best. $50,000. Of course, it's not a small amount, but he insisted. The ground seemed to disappear from under my feet. $50,000. I felt a lump rising in my throat and my hands starting to shake. This money could have gone towards the down payment for the country house we had been talking about all last year, or for the long-awaited trip to Japan, our shared dream since college years. But now these plans would have to be postponed again because Sarah deserves the best. Sorry, Sarah, I'm in a hurry, I mumbled, quickly turning away from my sister-in-law's beaming face. I stood in the shopping center's restroom for what seemed like an eternity, looking at my reflection in the mirror. Shadows had settled under my eyes. I hadn't been sleeping well lately. Fragments of conversations I had heard over the years were spinning in my head. Sarah deserves better. She has such a difficult job. My sister needs to maintain her status. You understand? She's my only one. And who am I? Just a wife? An appendage to the brother who idolizes his sister? In 5 years of marriage, John had spent over $200,000 on gifts for Sarah. Expensive bags, shoes, jewelry, trips to trendy resorts. And that's not counting regular transfers for small things and joint shopping trips. We share expenses equally. It's fair, John would say. In the evening, my husband returned home in high spirits. "Can you imagine? I found the perfect gift for you," he announced as he walked in, kissing me on the cheek. He smelled of Sarah's expensive perfume. Obviously, they had spent the whole day together. "The most modern, with a comfortable handle and special coating. Sarah said she has the same one. She's very happy with it." I felt something break inside. Was he talking about a broom? Meanwhile, John continued to enthusiastically describe the technical characteristics of this household wonder. $300? But it's an investment in our comfort, right, dear? I mechanically set the table while he talked about how he and Sarah chose the car, how the consultant admired their taste, how his sister beamed with happiness. You should have seen her face when she sat behind the wheel. She had been dreaming about this model for so long. In the bedroom, later at night, I lay awake for a long time, listening to my husband's steady breathing. On the kitchen table lay an unwrapped broom in festive packaging. In the closet hung a fancy dress bought for the Christmas dinner at a restaurant, which, however, was also canceled because Sarah wants to host a family dinner at her house. On the phone, an unread message from the realtor was blinking. "The apartment is available. You can move in as early as tomorrow. Merry Christmas!" I quietly got out of bed and walked to the window. The city was shining with holiday lights. Snow continued to fall in large flakes. Tomorrow Christmas will come, and it will indeed be a special holiday, perhaps the most important in my life. In the hallway, a travel bag. Inside, the bare essentials for the first time and an envelope with a letter I had been writing all night, carefully choosing my words. Christmas morning began with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. I had barely slept all night but got up before dawn and began performing familiar rituals. I turned on the coffee machine. A gift from my mother-in-law last Christmas, exactly the same as Sarah's. I took out fresh pastries from John's favorite bakery. Everything as usual, everything as it should be. I had always been the perfect wife. On the kitchen table, next to the festive tablecloth and holiday candles, lay a letter. I read it one last time, carefully folded it, and put it in the envelope. The handwriting was even, each word carefully chosen. 3 pages about what had been bottled up for years, about canceled dates, unrealized travels, about everything that had always been pushed to the background because Sarah had important matters, a difficult period, special needs. "Good morning, darling." John appeared in the kitchen wearing a new bathrobe, another gift from his sister. "Merry Christmas. Have you opened your gift yet? I specifically chose the highest quality broom. Can you imagine? Sarah's housekeeper has the same one. She praises it a lot." I silently put a cup of coffee in front of him, not touching breakfast myself. On Christmas morning, somewhere far away, bells were ringing, creating a festive atmosphere that now seemed so out of place. "By the way, we're expected at Sarah's for a holiday lunch today," John continued, browsing news on his phone. "She wants to show everyone her new car. You know how she is." "John," I quietly interrupted him, "don't you find it strange to buy your sister a $50,000 car and your wife a $300 broom?" He looked up at me in surprise. "But you love cleaning, and Sarah needs to maintain her status. She's my sister." "I remember," I continued just as quietly. "You know, I calculated. In 5 years of our marriage, you've spent over $200,000 on gifts for Sarah. And that's not counting regular transfers for small things and joint shopping trips." "But that's my personal money," John protested. "We agreed to split expenses equally, and what I spend on my sister—" "Yes, your personal money." I nodded. "The same money that could have gone towards a down payment for a country house, or for our trip to Japan, or for any other family plans that you always postpone for your sister. I got up from the table and walked to the window. The city had already fully awakened, streets filling with holiday bustle. And you know what's the saddest part? It's not even about the gifts. It's that in 5 years, I never became a truly close person to you. There was always Sarah, special, unique, deserving the best, and I was just a convenient wife. John was silent in confusion. He had never seen me so calm, speaking uncomfortable truths. Usually I smiled, supported the conversation, created comfort. This Christmas morning, there was something wrong, something unsettling. I rented an apartment, I said simply, still looking out the window. I need time to think. About us. About whether this marriage has a future. But what about the holiday lunch? Sarah is waiting. And anyway, because of some gifts. John faltered, looking at me with genuine incomprehension. Exactly. I finally turned to him. Because even now you're thinking not about our marriage, but about what your sister will say. In the hallway stood my travel bag, packed yesterday. On the table lay an envelope with a letter, a testament to 5 years of unfulfilled hopes, and perhaps the beginning of a new life. The first thing I'll feel when I cross the threshold of my new apartment is freedom. Empty walls, a cold and neatly made bed. The house will be unusually quiet, disturbed only by the ticking of the clock and the distant ringing of Christmas bells. "Emily," he'll call, coming out of the bedroom. The kitchen will greet him with a strange order. Perfectly clean surfaces, a table set for breakfast, a festive tablecloth, fresh pastries, and still warm coffee in his favorite cup, as if the house had frozen in anticipation of something important. On the table, next to the envelope, will lie his yesterday's gift, the broom. The packaging neatly torn, but it itself will remain untouched. The phone will show 5 missed calls from his sister. "Brother, are you awake yet? Waiting for you and Emily for the holiday lunch. Want to show everyone my new car." John will slowly sit down on a chair, not letting go of the letter. Images of our life together will rush through his head, but now they will be seen differently. Here I am alone at the theater. He canceled our plans because Sarah needed help moving. Here I am celebrating my birthday alone. He flew with his sister to a concert of her favorite band. Here I am silently putting away a new dress. The family dinner is canceled because Sarah is going through a difficult period. The hallway will be unusually empty. My shoes, coats, scarves will be gone. Only Sarah's figurines will remain, the ones I dusted every day, although I couldn't stand such things. The phone will ring again. This time it's Mom. "Johnny, what have you done? Emily called me, asked to tell you that she's fine. She'll live separately. Think. Son, how could this happen? We all saw how you..." From the letter, "I'm leaving. Not because I don't love you, but because I love myself enough not to be forever second. Think about who you really want to see beside you. A wife or a sister. Because being both a loving husband and a devoted brother isn't working out for you." Outside, Christmas snow will continue to fall. On the table, the coffee I prepared will be getting cold. In his hands, he will still be holding the broom, a gift that became the last straw in the cup of patience of a loving woman. At this moment, for the first time in 5 years, John will truly think, maybe he really missed something, believing that a good salary and a beautiful apartment were enough for family happiness. Maybe real love is not only expensive gifts for his sister, but also attention to the one who was there every day, creating the comfort of their shared home. But the realization will come too late. Christmas morning, his empty apartment. and cooling coffee